Welcome to Aligned Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda, and I'll be guiding our practice today. I'm a youth ministry director, and this past weekend I led a training retreat for our summer mission team. And I themed the retreat on the word rooted. Rooted in community, rooted in truth, rooted in love. As I was planning the last session, the Lord led me to the book of Philemon. So Philemon is an unusual book in the Bible. It is a single chapter. It is a letter written to an individual rather than to a church. So the question is, why was this letter to an individual included in the canon of the Holy Scriptures? And I believe that the answer is that this letter is about the radical application of love that we are called to as Jesus followers. Paul writes this letter to Philemon as an old man. He is in prison, and Philemon had offered Paul a slave, Onesimus. And so Onesimus has been with Paul for a while, and he's been helping him out in prison. And now Paul is sending Onesimus back to Philemon, and this is what the letter is referring to. Paul says this when he describes Onesimus. He says, "Formerly he was useless to you, but now he has become useful both to you and to me. I am sending him who is my very heart back to you." When Philemon sent Onesimus to Paul, he sent his useless servant. He didn't send his best slave. He didn't send the slave that meant the most to him. He sent the useless one. And Paul received Onesimus in love. And he refers to Onesimus as his son in this letter, and he tells Philemon that Onesimus is now his very heart. And in the letter, he appeals to Philemon to accept Onesimus, his slave, as brother. Imagine how radical that must have been for the time, when masters and servants and slaves were a very common dynamic in society. Do you love others well, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of... And can we follow this letter and use it as a way to apply the radical love of Christ into our life as we love others? If you haven't already, come to a seated position, bringing the sitting bones underneath the hips comfortably on a block or a prop, something that will elevate your hips just a few inches off the floor. Allow the shoulders to settle comfortably over the hips, the crown of the head to rise high. Closing your eyes, let the room around you fade away, drawing attention inward. Finding breath. Begin to lengthen and deepen your breath, breathing fully down the body as you inhale and up the body as you exhale. Inhaling into the lungs, the rib cage, the diaphragm muscle. Exhaling, drawing the navel in and up. Knitting the rib cage together, drawing in towards the spine, emptying the lungs. As you inhale, open up the space for the radical love of God to flow in you, to flow through you, to flow out of you. As you exhale, exhale those barriers away. Prejudice, inconvenience, inattention. Begin to let the hips grow a little bit heavier. We'll be doing a hip release today. And just notice any sensations in and around the hips, in the legs, in the lower back. Clear your mind and give yourself permission to be fully present in your practice today. Let your hands come down to the mat, and on the next inhale, let the arms rise up and overhead. And as you exhale, connected with breath, bring the arms down to the mat. And continue here, arms rising and falling. Begin to find a little bit of length up and down the sides of the body. And one more inhale and exhale here. And on the next inhale, bring the arms up. But as you exhale, can you bring that left hand over that right leg, finding twist? Bring the palms together as the arms rise up again. And exhale into twist on the other side. And forth here a few times. And as we think about releasing hips, releasing all of those muscles that connect to the hip. How does that back feel today? Can the hips stay stable as the upper body twists? One more time, bringing that left arm over that right leg, staying in the twist this time, using the traction from hand to leg to create a deeper twist, softening the belly, opening the chest, finding breath. On the next exhale, unwind. Bring palms up again. Reach as high as you can. Let the shoulders rise all the way up to the ears. And then sink them down. And exhale and come across the other direction. And find your twist here. A little more length in the spine. A little more opening across your chest. As you're ready, release. Come off the block. Go ahead and cross that right leg in front of the left. Bring any props that you have to the front of the mat. Taking a deep breath in, raise those arms up. Bring the inside of the hands, wrists, forearms, elbows together, and tucking your chin, draw your arms forward as your head draws down. Where do you feel sensation? Is it in the hips, across the back, in the neck? Can the back of the head come a little closer to the mat? As you're ready, press into your hands, rise up, bring both arms up and overhead, and one more time, find a twist. This time, reach that right hand as far forward as you can. Reach that to the side. I'm reaching to the side here. And reach that left hand. Begin to settle into that left sitting bone. Let the head grow heavy. And can you find twist and can you find release up and down the side and the back of the body? And staying here, bring that front hand into that back hip crease and gently press the hip back and down. And then as you're ready, reach the arm across again. And pressing into the hands, hand over hand, come back to center and walk your way up. Take that outside leg to the outside of the mat, extending it, bringing that left foot securely into the thigh, creating some traction there. Activate your extended leg, heel pressing forward, hip crease drawing back. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, draw back. And one more time here. And then as you're ready, come forward. And maybe the hands are on the legs, on the mat, or on the feet. Maybe you cross your wrists. Just opening up across the back a little bit more. As you're ready, take your right hand to your thigh, right in the center of the thigh. Press down for 2 breaths. The next inhale, rise up a bit, and then exhale and come forward again. And find your stretch. Stay here for one more breath. Bring the right forearm to the inside of the leg. Sweep the left arm all the way up. Bring it overhead. How much length can you find from fingertips to hip? Drawing the shoulder back just a bit more, anchoring into both sitting bones. And then bring that arm up and sit up. Cross the other leg in front. Inhaling, raise the arms all the way up again, inside of the hands, wrists, forearms, elbows together, opening up across the upper back, tucking chin, exhale and come forward. Let the back of the head reach towards the mat, breathing in deeply here. Where do you feel sensation on this side? As you're ready, pressing into your hands, rise up. Taking a deep breath in, both arms up and overhead. Reach as high as you can and twist, this time bringing that right arm over to the left. Sweep that left hand forward all the way. So again, I'm reaching to the side here, but reach it as long as you can, and then reach that right hand. Stay here, find your stretch. Again, just noticing how one side compares to the other. And then as you're ready, just bring that right thumb to that hip crease. Draw the hip back and down. Maybe the left hand creeps a little further out. And stay there and bring that right arm across again. Notice where you feel the tension. It's not always easy to love others unconditionally. Pressing into your hands, come back up. Extend that front leg out to the side, activate the leg, bring that right foot securely into the thigh. Exhaling, come forward. Inhaling, draw back. Back and forth here. And next time you come forward, stay there. Again, just bring the hands comfortably down, supporting you, maybe on the leg, on the mat, on the feet, maybe crisscrossed over. And if you're crossed over, maybe it's the other hand on top this time. As you're ready, left hand comes to the center of the thigh. Press down for 2 breaths. Inhaling, rise up. Exhaling, come forward. And stay here. Allowing the head to grow heavy, drawing the belly in. Finding tension, but never struggle. Bring the outside arm to the inside, resting on the forearm. Raise that right arm up. Bring it overhead. And again, just motion. Notice where you feel the stretch the most. And as you're ready, release. And come up. Cross the ankle again. This time, rise up into table. Wrists are directly underneath shoulders. Fingers are spread wide. Knees are underneath the hips. Feet are hidden behind the knees. Find a neutral position of the spine. So there's no sense of overarching the back or rounding the shoulders. And from here, anchoring in through the abdominals, rise into a cat pose. And then arch your back into cow. So can you lead from the center, drawing the navel in and up as you come into cat? Drawing the collarbone forward and up as you come into cow. And 2 more times here, cat to cow. Meet me back at table. Extend your right foot back, flex the foot, and begin to roll over the foot. So all the way to the top of the foot, and then press the heel back. And everybody has unique mobility. Maybe you don't have a lot of mobility in your feet or your ankles. You're just working within your range of motion, trying to find that stretch and that release. And then as you're ready, keep the foot flexed, raise it up parallel to the sky. Exhale and bring that foot across the other leg. Draw that left shoulder to the left hip. I'm resting on the outside of that back foot. And then begin to lift and lower that right hip. Move it a little forward and back. Find the stretch that's right for you. As you're ready, release. Come to your knees. Exhale. Meet me in child's pose. Hips drawing back. I'm losing my words today. Bring the feet behind you, pressing firmly into the tops of your feet. Fingertips folded under, wrists to sky. So just find a bit of a hand and wrist release here. Your first child's pose, just noticing where your body goes. And meet me back in table. Go ahead and extend that left leg back, again flexing the foot, rolling over the foot, pressing the heel all the way back and forth here. Are your abdominals still engaged? Providing stability and support. And one more time, and then hold that flex. And float the leg up. Gently bring it all the way across. Come to the outside of that foot. Drawing right shoulder to hip. And then just adjusting the stretch for that left hip, whatever you want it to be. And stay here for another breath. As you're ready, release, knees underneath the hips. Draw back to child's pose. And this time come forward into a kneeling mountain and stabilizing through the abdominals, come all the way down to the mat. Bring the forearms wide, press into the forearms as you come in and out of Sphinx pose, warming up through the back. And next time you rise into Sphinx, stay there. And can you press the forearms down and imagine the elbows drawing in towards the hips, engaging through the abdominals. And exhale down to the mat and bring hands to rib cage and draw back to child. And twice more on your own, just work through this very basic flow. Continuing to warm up your muscles, continuing to notice where you would like stretch and release, where you are tight, where you feel stuck or tired. Modify your practice accordingly. As you're ready, meet me in child and stay there for 2 breaths and just check in. Can you breathe 3-dimensionally? Come up through table, curling the toes underneath, bring knees into rib cage, and meet me in that first downward facing dog. So keep the knees bent, shake your head out no, and yes, maybe you angle your first fingers slightly towards the front corners of your mat. Engaging through the abdominals, begin to pedal through your feet. Move the hips side to side, stretch through the sides of the body. Again, really releasing through all of these muscles that affect the hips. And as you're ready, inhaling, heels rise. Exhaling, heels come down to the mat. Engage the muscles of the legs. Let the heels rise. Gently bring the heels slightly over to the right. Lift the heels, bring them slightly over to the left. Lift the heels and bring them back center, staying here for another 2 breaths. What is your downward dog telling you today? On the next inhale, right leg rises high, gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through the hands. Begin to drop and lift that back knee. Back and forth here. It's just a gentle tap to the mat, rising up. Can you find the stretch in the psoas muscle, the front of the hip on that left side? The next time that knee comes down, leave it there, top of the foot to the mat. Bring both hands inside your front foot. And if you have a block, bring the block either tall or up 1 level to the inside of the foot and bring your forearms to the block. Begin to find a little bit of length in that back leg. I just scooted my leg back a little bit to drop into the hip a little bit more. I am pressing through my big toe, through the heel, and drawing the inside of the leg towards my arm and my arm towards my leg. So some of you may think that this is a little bit too much for you. Go ahead and raise your prop up. Some of you might be able to come down, might even be able to bring forearms to the floor. Adjust the pose for your body for this practice. One more breath here. Pressing into the hands, rise up. Bring hands to either side of the foot. Lift the back leg, bring the front leg to the back. Meet me in plank. Stay in strong plank for a breath. Stabilize. And then knees coming down to the mat. Come through grasshopper or low plank. Into sphinx or low cobra. And meet me in child. Rising up through table, meet me in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, left leg rises high, gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through the hands, back knee drops and lifts. Again, just finding the stretch in the psoas now on the right side. And next time that knee taps down, leave it there. Again, hands come to the inside of that front foot. This is where you begin. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, place that block at the appropriate height. Bring your forearms to the block. Press leg into arm, arm into leg, imagining the inner thighs drawing in towards each other, towards the center of the mat. How much length can you find in your spine? Two more breaths here. Again, adjusting the height of that prop as you go, maybe going a little deeper, maybe pulling back. As you're ready, press your hands into the block of the mat, move the prop out of the way. Front foot comes to the back, meet me in plank. Find your plank and come down to the mat. Rise into your back bend. Come through child. And meet me in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, right leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. This time, rise up into a high lunge and settle into your lunge. Front shin reaching towards the front edge of the mat, back thigh rising to the sky. Draw the navel in and up. Find a little bit of support at the base of your throat. Bring that right hand to the small of your back and gently draw that front arm, that left arm across, entering into a high twist. Stay here for another breath. And then unwind, bringing arms up and over, find a back bend. And exhale, hands down to either side of that front foot. Press into that left hand. If you choose to, bring that right arm up to the sky. Stacking shoulders, stacking wrists. Maybe come to the outside edge of that front foot and the outside edge of that back foot, finding a hip stretch. One more breath here. Unwind. This time the back foot rises to meet the front. Meet me in your first forward fold, shaking your head out no and yes. Hands to shins, come up halfway with the back. Exhale down, pressing through your feet, rise all the way up into mountain. Hands to heart. Turn the backs of the hands towards me. Cross the thumbs, find butterfly hands. Reach the arms all the way up in butterfly. Come up and over to the right. And press into that left foot. Can you draw the shoulder back and the gaze up? Exhaling, release. Hands behind the small of the back. Find your back bend. And then cross the hands in the other direction, backs of the hands towards me, all the way up and over. Pressing into the right foot. Inhale, rise. Exhale, this time the fingers interlace. So you're bringing your elbows to the outside edge of the mat. Find a bit of a back bend. Arms rise high. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale, down one leg back and then the other. Find plank. From plank, come down to the mat. However you choose to do that, find your back bend of choice and meet me in downward facing dog. Stay here for 2 breaths. Check in. Notice what's going on right side of the body and left side of the body. On the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through the hands, rise up into your lunge. And find the lunge. Find a focal point in front of you. Find the anchors as the hips draw in towards the spine, the hip points and the tailbone, the navel in and up. Left hand to the small of the back, right arm reaches across, enter into a high twist. And find the twist for 2 more breaths. And as you're ready, come all the way up and find a back bend. And then exhaling, bring hands to either side of that front foot. Press into the right hand, sweep the left arm up. Maybe this is enough for you. If you want a little more stretch, you can come to the outside edge of that front foot, outside edge of that back foot. Find the appropriate pose for you and stay for 1 full breath. One more inhale. And exhale and unwind. Back foot rises to the front. Meet me in forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Inhale, come all the way up, mountain pose. Hands to heart. Stay here and check in for 3 full breaths. How fast is your heart beating? Can you slow it down as you slow your exhale down? How does the body feel? Is there a difference between the right side and the left side? Often loving others well is a matter of noticing. Noticing what is going on in the lives of other people. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise up. Exhaling, bring the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers, draw the elbows out, bending knees, bring the rib cage to the thighs, let the head come down, the arms come over. If that doesn't work from you, you can just hold onto the elbows behind you. Shake your head out no and yes. Lift and lower your hips a few times. And then let the hips rise up as the head comes down. Can you find length in the spine? Exhaling, anchor the abs. Draw the arms forward, find chair pose. Right hand to the small of the back, left arm across, find twist. Stay here and twist, maybe pressing the tailbone down a little bit towards the mat. Drawing that right shoulder back a little more. Hands to heart, bring the hands down in between the feet, rise all the way up into mountain. Exhale, hands behind you and down, interlace the fingers the other direction, elbows go wide, bending the knees, rib cage to thighs, fold forward, knuckles to the sky. And begin to straighten into your forward fold. And then engage through the abdominals. Let those arms come all the way down. Rise up into chair pose. This time, the left hand comes to the small of the back. The right arm reaches across into twist. Can you keep both knees even with each other? There's often a tendency to draw that outside knee forward. Can you keep your weight evenly centered on both feet? The base of the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. Ready, release. Exhaling, hands to prayer, all the way down, all the way up into your final back bend here. And then exhaling, final forward fold. Stay in forward fold, shaking your head out, no and yes. Releasing any tension in the neck. Back of the head reaching towards the mat. Gently bend your right knee. Let your left leg stay straight or straight-ish. Can you find a stretch in the outside of that left leg, left hip? Switch sides. Now looking for the stretch in the IT band on the right side. Deeply bend the knees, raise the hips one final time. Find your last forward fold, whatever feels good for you. One full breath here. On the next inhale, hands to shins, body rises up halfway. Exhale, come down, one leg back and then the other, find plank. From plank, draw the knees down, child to table 3 times. Can you reconnect to your breath? Exhaling back, inhaling forward. As you're ready, come back into child and stay there. Breathing 3-dimensionally, filling the back of the body with air. Let the body soften and drape over the legs. Feel the connection of the palms to the mat, the forearms and the shins and the tops of your feet. Maybe massage your head out, rolling your forehead side to side. Take a deep breath here. And then rise up to sitting and come down onto your back. Give yourself a hug and rock side to side. And then as you're ready, hold on to your right leg and either bring that left foot to the mat, knee bent, or extend the left leg. Again, adapt the practice, make it work for you. As you're ready, holding on behind the front leg, behind the knee or over the shin, tuck your chin, nose to knee as the body rises to meet the leg. And exhale, and the body comes down to the mat. So 2 more times, nose to knee, and release. And then take the hands behind the leg, raise that leg up to the sky, begin to find the hamstring stretch that's right for you. And then bend the knee. You're going to wrap your right hand to the inside of your leg, up and around your shin, and your left hand is going to come around your foot. So you're going to cradle your leg and begin to gently rock your legs side to side. So think about creating a U with it, drawing the knee up towards the shoulder and then towards the collarbone. As you're ready, release it. You're still holding on to it. Bring the leg out to the side. Bring the other leg up, knee bent, and bring the ankle to the front of that leg. Now my hands are underneath my back leg, or around my back leg. Flex both feet, activate the stretch. Begin to press that front leg towards the back of your mat, towards your foot. Find breath. As you're ready, release. Bring that back foot down to the mat. Bring that top leg the rest of the way over. Arms out to the side. Now lower body twist to your right. So my right leg is on top and I am twisting to the right. Go easy. You're looking for a stretch on the outside of that left hip, maybe all the way down to the knee, stretching through the IT bone. Stretching through the IT band. Can you soften the abdominals? Gently draw the belly in, come back to center. Bring both legs up towards you, and can you hold on to your feet? And then bring the feet to the outside of the mat and raise them up. So my knees are crossed, my feet are out to the side, flex the feet, and we will be entering into this as we sit. So just imagine what this would feel like if you were sitting, and take another deep breath here. As you're ready, release. Bring the feet to the mat. Bring both knees in, tuck your chin, nose to knees, and then extend your legs long. And just notice right side of the body compared to the left. Maybe one side of the body is resting differently on the mat. So repeating that stretch sequence. Draw the left knee in, hands either behind the knee or over the shin. Right leg either bent, knee up, or extended. 3 times, nose to knee, and release. As you're ready, hand comes behind that leg, foot rises to sky. Find the hamstring stretch that's right for you on this side maybe it's different. As you're ready, bend your leg. Take that outside arm to the inside, up and underneath the shin. Bring that right hand across the foot, cradle the leg, and begin to draw that U again, coming towards the shoulder, and then up and towards the collarbone. And can you find a bit of a hip release in this? Bring that knee to the outside, bend the other leg, rest that front ankle on that back knee. Keeping a small arch in the lower back so your back is still in neutral position. Hold on behind that leg. So I'm holding on to my back leg. My front knee is beginning to move towards the back foot, easing into the stretch that's right for me. Can you release a little more with your exhale? As you're ready, bring that back foot to the mat. Continue crossing that top leg over the rest of the way. Arms out to the side. This time, both knees are going to come over to your left. Again, very slowly enter into it. Can you find a stretch in the IT band on the outside of that left hip? Can the shoulder blades stay connected? Maybe you look away from the knees. One more breath here. As you're ready, engaging through the abdominals, draw the knees back up to center. Hold on to your feet as the knees come towards you, and then raise those feet up. Again, just finding the stretch, noticing, it feels very different for me on this side. Is one side tighter than the other? Can you flex the feet? Engage the muscles of the legs. Sink the shoulder blades into the mat. Let the heels come down. Again, one time. Bringing the knees into your chest, tucking your chin, nose to knees. This time, bring the hands behind your legs, knees out to the side. Roll up to sitting, roll back down. 2 more times. Come up to sitting. Meet me in table again. So, microphone on here. So in table, again, hands and wrists directly underneath the shoulders, eyes of the elbows turned in, knees underneath the hips. Bring your right knee to your nose, cross your knee over the other one, and bring your legs out wide. If you have a prop, and if you haven't done this before, bring that prop behind you so that as you press back with your hands, you can sit on the block. Okay. Now, if that's really comfortable for you, you don't feel much of a hip stretch, maybe this pose is within your practice, you can just bring those hips all the way down to the mat. Right? Again, always making modifications in every practice to meet your body where it is in the moment. If you want still more stretch than this, go ahead and give those feet a squeeze. Exhale, and from the hip crease, lean forward. Wherever you are in the stretch, take 2 breaths here. Rise back up. This time, bring your right elbow to the sky. Find a tricep stretch. And then maybe that left hand palm out, thumb down, sweeps to the back. Maybe hands connect, finding the fullest expression of the pose. Take one more breath here, wherever you are. And unwind everything. Bring your legs in front of you. Bounce your knees, windshield wiper your feet. Cross your ankles, come forward into table. And here we go again. Left knee draws up towards nose, bring it out. The foot comes in front of the other leg. Both feet reach towards the outside edge of the mat. If you're using a block, it's going to come underneath those hips so that as you come down, you rest onto the hips. Keep the weight in the hands until your hips are settled. Keep the feet flexed to protect the knees. Stay here. Find your breath. And then if you want more stretch, hinge at the hips. Again, maybe one side very different from the other. Isn't that interesting? Allow the shoulders to relax, the spine to lengthen. Begin to straighten up the body again. This time it is the left elbow that reaches towards the sky in your tricep stretch. And the right hand that comes back and around to meet the left, if that's a thing for you. Find breath wherever you are. Breathe into those tight places, creating space. And as you're ready, release. Unwind the legs. Bring the legs in front of you. Feet to the front edge of the mat. Go ahead and bounce the knees, windshield wiper the feet. Bend the legs just a bit as you come back down onto your back again. Extend the legs long. And settle into your mat. Finding Shavasana, turn your head side to side. And settle at center. Reach your hands all the way up to the ceiling, palms facing in. Thump the shoulders down. Do that twice more. And bring the hands down to the hips, rotating palms up. As you settle into Shavasana today, think about the language of Christ's church. Brother and sister. Father God. Opening yourself up to love all those that God brings into your life as family. As complicated and messy as that can be. Exhaling out whatever barriers you have to doing that. Reconnecting to your breath, gently bring yourself back to this time and this place. How has your body settled onto the mat? Gently begin to bring movement back. Wiggle fingers and toes. Rotate wrists and ankles. Turn your head side to side. And that next inhale, bring those arms up and overhead and just stretch as long as you can. Right fingertips and left toes, left fingertips and right toes. And on that next exhale, draw the knees in and slowly roll over onto your side, supporting your head with your arm. Take 2 more deep breaths here. As you're ready, press into your hands and come up, eyes still closed. Crossing legs comfortably in front of you, finding your sitting bones. Checking in one final time, body, mind, and soul. What has changed today? What has stayed the same? On your next inhale, arms rise up and overhead, palms together in prayer. Draw hands to heart. Bowing your head, join me in prayer. Holy God, you alone are perfect love, sacrificial to the point of death, unconditional no matter how many times you are betrayed or offended. Spirit, help us love others in that same way. Help us love passionately. Help us love unconditionally. Help us love without barrier. We thank you, God, for your example in Jesus, dying on the cross for us while we were still sinners. Lord, let us love others with that same mercy and forgiveness. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for joining me today.